Last time on Roll for Distraction, Starfall. The crawler began its descent down the elevator. While doing so, they noticed a convoy of Opus aircraft towing a large ring-shaped machine of some sort. The party was unable to discern its exact purpose, but did believe it to be an offensive tool of some sort. Once underground, they discovered an abandoned network of highways packed with cars facing away from the city. In one part of the tunnel, they discovered an egg chamber with young biotitans of some sort, and had to fight a few of them off after waking them up. In another chamber, they discovered a nanobot mass that had formed itself into a large pseudo-mech using old cars. However, it was quickly destroyed by Giuseppe's monomolecular blade. At the end of the highway, they fought two of the pre-Opus mechs, using a strategy of long-range, focused fire to take them down. At the end of the tunnel, they finally reached Starfall City, battered and abandoned, but still standing. However, looming over the city, trapped in ice, was a massive reptilian biotitan, now within reach of being unfrozen by Opus.
Alright, so is everyone reprised on the Gnome Night War going on?
Yes.
No, please explain.
Okay,
it's gonna be old news by the time this episode comes
shut
out,
up, it's
but
not,
go ahead.
It's fine. So, there are a bunch of just little guys running around in hats and capes.
Like
Just
actual
sort of-
little people?
No, I think they're normal-sized people running around like idiots.
They're just like crouch running.
It started as a meme. There were people just like crouch running through their own offices or their own house, and then it started happening in malls and like public places, hiking trails. And then I started.
You're not talking
seeing
about the
people-
guys who are like the hobbits, right?
No,
That's different.
come on, Brian. That's racist. A gnome and a hobbit are different.
That's it. That's
I
ignorant.
know. I was wondering if it started with that because that's all I've seen.
But then a bunch of like knights started pretending to hunt them, or people dressed in armor saying they're knights. And now there's just some a lot of lore going on. The bridge trolls have thrown themselves in with the gnomes. The wizards are making a decision. It's wild.
Well,
it's having a great time.
I
just
thought
watching
there
all of this.
wizards who were gnomes who were on the gnome side.
Do you guys want to play Salvage Union?
Yeah,
no,
let's
no,
go.
this is
Let's
more
see
interesting.
the Godzilla.
Anyway. Anyway.
Is today the finale, Alexander?
And it's the finale.
We're gonna fight Godzilla.
Whoa!
We're gonna behead
Maybe
Godzilla.
not. Probably
In
not.
one swing.
My
We're already gonna
Seems
dance
unlikely.
on him again.
My 10% chance to kill Godzilla.
Quick orders of business at the top. As I said in the last episode, but now that it's a little further in the future, there's probably 2 episodes of our other show out by now, Guitar's Origins. Go watch those. Little link. Probably, maybe. If there's not 2 episodes out now, there's about to be a second episode out. Time is funny. I don't know.
Time is a construct.
Yeah, it's a fraud. Some might say. Second order of business. Second order of business. Let's play the little teaser for the next season again, because we do that at the beginning instead of the end when it's the finale. Here's what the next season is gonna be.
Da-da-da.
Pirates, everyone. It's going to be pirates.
Of
Yeah.
Penzance.
Our mateys.
Of a non-specific region of the ocean.
No, here's the thing.
It's the Caribbean.
It's the Caribbean.
Yeah, we're playing a game called Honor and Intrigue. It's
I
gonna
was
be a
trying to
campaign
keep
about
the mouse
pirates.
off our back, but okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. There are
They
actual pirates in the actual. There were actual pirates in the actual.
They don't.
Caribbean.
They own
They
the
don't-
phrase in capital letters in context of a title, "The Pirates of the Caribbean." They don't own the
They don't
idea
own
of
the
pirates
idea that there
in
were pirates.
the Caribbean.
Like,
Yeah, you can't copyright a fact.
No, Walt Disney himself
It's
was
history.
in fact a pirate of the Caribbean. That's what it's based off of.
Anyway,
There were
don't you
many
know?
a
Walt
pirate.
Disney
Stick
was
around
a
for
pirate
that.
in the same way that Edison was a pirate.
Shut up.
Moving on.
Stick around for the next season of the show. If you've enjoyed this, we hope you stay around and continue to enjoy the next thing we do, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next
And
thing.
the next day.
Forever
And the next day.
Until we're dead.
Ever.
Anyway, Salvage Union, the finale. One last ride.
How the
What
fuck do
we're
you play
gonna
this
do
game again?
It's been a long
It's been a couple of days now since you got to Starfall City.
Thank you. Never forget Terry.
Platypus? He jumped through a window, right?
No, that was you.
All right.
Oh.
Let's reel it
Okay,
in
we're
before
done now, we're
Alex
done.
has an aneurysm. You're up, bud.
Okay, are we good?
Yes.
So, you finally made it to, we have El Dorado at home, and unfortunately, a legally distinct Godzilla is frozen above the domed ceiling, which has a big old crack in it, because they never finished building it, it seems.
That's fun.
And so, you returned back to the crawler. Crawler took its sweet-ass time crawling to catch up to the edge of the city, and in that time, they have been, in concert with you guys, trying to sort of piece together what happened here by tapping into, what's left of the computer systems and other sorts of investigation and such. As you guys are just now getting to the city in the crawler, and you've suited up in your mechs ready to go, presumably potentially have to fight something, Commodore comes over the full intercom for the PA for the whole crawler and makes an announcement. They say, "Crows, I need all of your attention. We have finally pieced together what the purpose of this place is, and it's not good news." Let's see here.
Did his teleprompter break?
No, see, you guys are being so quiet that now I wasn't sure if this
Okay, fine. It's fine. I'll just make a little bit of background noise.
I'm totally not
Well,
listening
don't do
to
that, maybe.
last week's recording to figure out why I have so little energy points.
Oh, you should have all your
You're
shit back,
full.
by
We
the
went
way.
Did we? Oh.
Yeah.
Are you talking about real life or in the game?
Okay, no lost dose.
Also, the heat was restored, right?
Heat back to zero, all your points back up, etc.
All right.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
We're good.
Anyway, the news is thus. This facility, this city, was built by a long-gone corporation that would eventually merge to form what we now know as the Opus Institute.
Amazon.
Shortly before the war, to house its best scientists and their families.
A company town for Amazon.
It's a company town for... Yeah, basically. The city itself was mostly finished. However, the giant dome, the giant impenetrable super dome...
It was penetrated.
It just wasn't finished. They never finished building it. There's a big gap down the middle of it. They were almost done. The city, they had incredibly advanced technology, food, fabricators, medical pods, quantum stuff, nonsense that you don't really even fully understand, that could probably run itself for 1,000 years. Most of which is in a condition to potentially be repaired. It might take years, some of it, but you could probably fix most of it up and make this place livable again for a long time.
There's just that looming threat above us.
There is. However,
bit.
the crown jewel of their science, of their projects, was an orbital gamma ray cannon, codenamed Project Starfall.
Ah. A death ray.
Yeah, straight up a supernova ray.
The Hammer of Dawn.
Kinda. So, the corporation performed tests of the cannon in the waters a bit to the north. They did a little Bikini Atoll, and they did a little legally distinct Godzilla.
Now we have SpongeBob. Great.
Yeah. The creature laid eggs. They collected some for experimentation and examination.
Matthew Broderick got
contained in that
involved.
one side area. Unrelated to their work, or perhaps tangentially related to their work, the war, the big, forever war that turned everything to shit, broke out as the giant lizard reached Starfall City. It blasted radiation through the crack in the ceiling, killing most of the citizens instantly, except for a few that happened to be operating those Iron Man-esque suits, leaving them just to sort of mentally decay in their robo suits and just follow fragments of old orders.
Huh.
Oh, that's horrifying.
As that was happening, it's pretty fucking fucked up, actually. As that was happening, some sort of another corporation with another super weapon that disrupts the weather made everything real fucking cold.
I knew the government could control the weather. Wait, wrong character.
Somebody
Sorry.
could. That was your last character.
To be fair, that would be a thing that could just be a known fact in this universe. Like, oh yeah, the government, of course they control the weather.
They probably could have back in the day.
Yeah.
They
at
broke
this point,
it.
what government? But, you know.
Right. They broke the weather. There's radiation storms now.
Am I
But
talking about the
they
game
could
or
for
we're
a
talking
little
about 2025? Who knows?
while. We don't know. As you know, this episode was recorded a couple weeks ago. Let us know if the government can control the weather down in the comments.
They've always been able to.
And thus, the lizard was froze just above the dome, in sort of a tidal wave. Currently, Opus is mining through the ice above it, and they're only an hour or two away from reaching the lizard, at which point they will attempt to use that device on it, which you're pretty convinced at this point is a collar. Regardless of whether or not that is successful, having the beast out and about will be bad news for the service.
Just a little bit.
See,
Damn, the
John's
news was
already
so
got
bad
the
it was killing
radiation
John.
sickness.
Yep.
I'm
John's
just letting you know we're
dying.
still here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was part of my background noise routine.
The complex has limited backup power available, and while much of its generators could be repaired in the next few hours, you have to make a very difficult choice. You can only execute one of two options, and
Jesus.
they're going to put this to a vote to all of the crows.
What tech level is a 50 kiloton hydrogen bomb?
No. No, it's 6 actually. So option
What
A.
tech level is a Chernobyl?
Option A is activate the big space gun, the Starfall cannon, which would kill the monster. It would kill the Opus crew in the area with their device to control it, and also all of you.
Oh, that'd
Fuck.
be bad.
The
I like
weapon
Game's over
is
anyway. Yeah.
the weapon is damaged,
No.
so it can't be re-aimed without going to space to perform service on it, which you can't do. No one's been able to fly up for centuries
So wait,
at this
the
point
weapon
because
is
of
pointed
consistent.
at the city?
The weapon is pointed at the city. They were going to try to self-sacrifice, but they didn't have enough time to pull the trigger. And it's been left up there. It's been hit by other space debris, and it can't be re-aimed. Yeah, that's option one. It's bad for you guys, but you do kind of save the world, right? Option B,
Let
You
Godzilla
can-
rain terror.
make it to the lockdown controls and the drone controls, and potentially have just enough time to direct the drones to finish the dome and fully lock down the city. In theory, it should be impenetrable. You guys could live down here. You and your children and your grandchildren and your 10th great-grandchildren could live down here in peace
our
and prosperity.
lovely ivory tower.
Yeah.
But like backwards underground. However, the fate of the surface world, with either a rampaging, legally distinct Godzilla or a mega corporation leashed legally distinct Godzilla,
All right, so I'm raising my
It's
hand.
not
I have
great.
a question.
yes.
Why can we not direct the drones to finish the dome and then fire the gun
Because the gun can only be pointed directly at you
at
and
the indestructible bubble?
at the indestructible ball, but at that point the monster will move. And so you'd just be shooting it at nothing.
Why can't we split the party?
Yeah.
Because there's only enough power to do one or the other. Yeah, the generators are busted
So the
at the moment.
generators for the gun are on the ground.
The generators for everything are on the ground. You're just sending a signal either to the drones or to the gun, and there's like very little power. All you can do is send a signal from their consoles.
So it
Yes,
sounds
God,
like
God,
our
thank you
options-
for the GIF of it's not. It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
It's Godzilla!
You should run like it is Godzilla, though it isn't.
Correct.
I guess I'll give you guys the map, not that it helps you too much.
What if we
So
just
it sounds
kill
like our
the
two
Batman?
options, as a summarized point, is either a heroic suicide or subjecting us and our generations to live underground for all of eternity.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're saying heroic suicide or paradise but fuck everyone else.
Basically.
Or
You're
forced
trying to
live
play on our
underground
better
forever.
nature, but we're a bunch of fucking scavengers.
It's a little grayer than that, because there'd be less people, but they'd all live a much happier life down
Yeah.
here, because
And
everything
live.
is shit up on the surface already.
It's
so.
cold up there.
It's
Well, not the whole thing, but yeah. So it's just no good choice.
I'll be
This
honest.
is a tough choice, man.
No, it isn't.
I don't know what to do.
It's not as tough of a choice as you think, because the options are I die or everyone else who's living a miserable, awful existence right now dies, and then we get to live great.
regardless, it gets put to a vote.
Wait.
The numbers come in. You all have your little iPads or whatever.
What about
right?
option C? Fight Godzilla, 1v1.
That seems because the problem is Godzilla's up there, and so is like the army.
The army.
Hold on a second. I'm hearing noises and I'm home alone. Give me a second.
Oh no, Brian.
Brian's being home invaded right now. What if we break the bottom of the ice enough to hit Godzilla's foot 1,000,000 times to do enough damage to kill him?
You gotta do the Riven cheese on Godzilla.
What's the over/under on us hacking the collar and gaining control of Godzilla?
Low.
The control ending of Mass Effect 3.
Control ending.
Does the collar count as a mech?
No.
Why? That's a ridiculous question.
That's a really dumb
should be, does Godzilla count as a mech?
Does
And since it's not
count
Mecha
as-
Godzilla, no.
Unless this is Attack on Titan, when there's a man inside of Godzilla.
It is
No.
meat mech.
A meat mech.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna keep narrating. So, like I said, they put it to a vote. The votes come in, and you guys, paralyzed by indecision, see everything come in, and it is a dead tie. There are,
Of course it is.
of course
Thanks,
it is,
Alex.
and there's an odd number of you. Isn't that fun?
Hey, guess
Wow.
what? I want to
Who
save
could
my
have
wife
seen
and
that
kid.
coming?
So if it involved killing me and saving the crawler, I'd still do that. I want to save my wife and kid.
That's fair.
So
That's
John
fair.
votes for Hyde in the city. Who else votes for Hyde in the city?
Yeah, I vote for
I would-
living, working Atlantis. That's. Sorry.
I would also like to live and work Atlantis.
Heroic suicide.
Brian votes for Save
Heroics.
the Surface.
Heroic suicide. It'll be funny.
Gerard votes for Save the
Christ.
Surface.
Colin, it's your
Colin?
decision,
No.
buddy.
We're putting the pressure on you, Colin.
Oh no, Colin,
No.
we're leaving this up to Colin's sense of morality.
So you said there's still a lot of really useful tech down here, right?
Yeah, eventually you would have time to repair most of this, and it would be a comfortable, peaceful life
Okay,
for
so
generations.
even a worst case scenario, if none of this shit works, our options are die now or maybe survive.
Flip a coin.
No.
Embrace the chaos.
Flip a bird.
flip the bird of John. We're killing our. We're using the laser.
Let's go for the security control.
Colin
Yeah.
has chosen life.
Boo.
Look, if
Thank
you two want to stay on the
you.
outside and fight this thing, you're welcome to.
As
We want to have a post-credit
Hang
scene where
on.
you two fight the fucking...
as members of the Union bound by your democratic code, you have chosen to lock down the city, repair the dome, and live. So, the order comes through. You are given the coordinates for the far side of the city where there is a security control area, and off you go in your mechs.
So Brian, there was actually a logical reason for me to choose security control.
Yeah.
So when Opus does break Mechagodzilla out of the ice,
It's just regular Godzilla.
And it goes on a rampage and destroys the surface.
Wait, what if we made Mecha Godzilla?
Afterwards,
grandchildren.
we can either use all of the technology here to make Mecha Godzilla, or
Colin was still. Hold on.
we can create super advanced drones that can then go up into space, fix the space laser, and then we can shoot Godzilla and reclaim the Earth.
Yeah, but not for generations. We wouldn't be alive for that.
I don't give a shit, but I'd get to live a nice, comfortable life where I don't have to fight for a living and dig through garbage.
You wouldn't have to do that if you were dead.
I'm gonna upload.
But then my wife and kid die too. That's what I'm worried.
It's
I'm gonna
fine,
upload my consciousness into the
Damn,
mainframe.
We're all gonna die one day anyway.
It is decided.
I'd punch at Brian. Like, I'd
Oh my god.
I'd start swinging.
I think this is a red flag. I think I need to go to therapy. Hold on a second.
Hold on, wait. Why would I ever
Is
choose
this a
death?
sign? Wait a minute.
Yes, please
this
go
not
to
normal?
therapy,
Hold
Brian.
on.
Everybody should go to therapy.
Everyone should. Everyone should.
Yeah, we're all
If you
working.
learn nothing from this podcast, ladies and germs, go to therapy. It's very
Also, get a
wonderful.
really good sword.
You continue walking. You get over. You walk through the city, right? In your mechs. It's not a super long journey because it's just a few blocks essentially, weaving your way through the buildings. As advertised, it is, some of the buildings are like sort of scorched on one side from the initial wave that killed everybody. But otherwise, everything is pretty intact. You're feeling somewhat hopeful about the prospect of repairing most of this and in making it livable, and in the short term, comfortable. In the long term, rather, comfortable and nice. But last thing in your way before you have that option is a large building in front of you. It says security control on the outside of it, and sure enough, standing at the top of the building, sort of epically looking down upon you, menacingly, are two more of the Iron Man dudes. One of them jumps down off the building, does the Iron Man pose in front of you, stands up, and this one can actually talk. It's distorted and garbled. I'll do it in post, but it actually speaks to you and just sort of points a finger, and it just manages to get out. You are not authorized.
Yeah, no, I was
must
contracted by the repair team. We're here to fix the dome.
I will need to hear your clearance code. It is 25 digits long.
187 boobies, Light FM.
I forgot to say. But I would have spent probably.
Would you like to activate the bubble? Go ahead.
8 points to the bubble.
So yeah, certainly this thing does not look like it wants to let you in. The other one is still standing up high on top of the building with a rifle of some sort. How do you guys position yourselves?
I don't. Alright, heroic suicide it is.
No.
Heroic
Brian.
homicide.
It's heroic homicide.
That's how every one of our games ends. Why are you
And it started
surprised?
blasting.
I would like to stay put in the center of the group.
Yes,
And,
Colin's going to be kind of in the middle with the bubble.
in
Where
the
does everyone
front.
else want to stand?
I would
relative to
also
Colin?
like to tell all of my friends to cover me.
I'd like to be slightly on the edge of the bubble so I can get a shot with my laser and or sandblaster if I need to.
Right.
And if the sandblaster ain't gonna do shit, but I love
Basically, is anyone not in the bubble? Is the question.
Me, I wanna fucking sword fight this man.
Okay.
The one that's talking.
Guess what, Gerard?
Chicken butt.
I would like to go first, if possible.
Well, let's roll initiative.
Why?
I'm gonna go find
'Cause
Colin
I
and
have
friends
fucking-
to cover him.
I
Are
have
you gonna
a thing.
scorpion spear me back? You fucking.
Maybe. I could.
Well, somebody roll the initiative die.
18.
Well, so Colin, you have something that you want to do. Why don't we let Colin propose what his turn is, and then
Oh, boy.
Brian, if you want to shoot
Can't wait to
first
see what Colin wants to do.
after hearing that proposal. What do you want to do?
Trojan horse the guy on the low ground.
What does that do / mean?
You have learned how to hack into the root control systems of a mech in order to pwn them. When you activate this ability, you gain full control of the mech within range for 10 minutes. You learn all of its stats, systems, modules, and abilities and control it as though it was your mech. Whilst it is under your control, you cannot take actions as a pilot or with your mech except for free actions such as talking, hence why I said cover me.
Sure.
And you can choose to end control of the mech at any time as a free action. If you're reduced to 0 HP or your mech is reduced...
If you break, right, sure.
Yes.
Okay. Brian, would you like to allow him to do that hacking attempt before you do your shooting?
Is that hacking attempt only on one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, can I shoot the other one?
Yeah, the other one is up on high up on a roof, but you have a very long range weapon, so yes, you can shoot that guy.
What is this mech's name?
I'll tell you if you successfully hack it.
Oh no, there's no, like, it's not a roll, it just does.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Sirs?
You just get it?
Yep.
Anyway, Brian, roll your attack.
Oh shit, that's
yeah,
great.
I got a natural 20.
Okay, this may not be a long
Starting out
finale.
well.
Would you like to double the damage or somehow do some other secondary effect?
Make
What you're
him
looking
blind.
at is one of the Iron Man mechs. It's one of the Iron Man mechs up high. He's got a rifle similar to yours, some sort of long-range rifle, as well as the sword.
I guess. Well, yeah, alright, sure. Let's go for blind.
Dome him.
Okay, yeah, you can, it's 5 damage normally, and you're gonna do a damage to his sensors, and then we enter initiative order, and it is Colin's turn, and I'm gonna read this hacking ability. What page is this?
36.
I found it. 36.
Says nothing about a dice roll. Costs 4 AP though, which I only have 6.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I was really hoping you were
so
gonna
hold
give
on.
us.
Wait a minute, Colin. If we had that, couldn't we gain control of the collar on the Godzilla guaranteed?
No, because it's not a mech. That was why I asked.
Okay.
Objectively not a mech. This is
alright.
objectively a mech. Here you go, Colin. Here's its stats.
I think the fact that Colin can't move is the drawback to this this ability.
So is this like a special mech, or is this based off of?
It's also the neurophage from the book. I just gave it a little bit extra structure points. There you go.
Does it happen to have a ejection pod by chance?
Yeah, it has the standard things. But actually no. I think this thing specifically can't quick eject because you're attached to it. That's your turn. So on next turn, you'll be able to control it. But for now, basically, you have managed to successfully skip its turn. Then what's going to happen is drones will start appearing. So a drone is going to uncloak off to the side of you guys, small little hover drones. And one of them is going to shoot at the dome. I rolled a 13. Let's see, that is... so it fires a laser at the dome, Colin, and does 3 SP to your dome.
3 SP to the dome.
And then back to you guys, anyone other than Colin. The Iron Man mech on the floor is hacked. The Iron Man mech up high has had its sensors damaged and hasn't actually acted yet. And then you've got one drone hovering nearby.
Can I fire the 120 at the one on the roof?
You may.
I think I missed.
Mech number 2, with its heavily damaged sensors that now cannot fire at a long distance, is going to jump down
Shit.
to the surface and engage in sword fighting.
Does he also do the Iron Man pose?
Of course. Gerard, I've rolled a 14. I'm going to say basically he can only attack targets in close range. That's what Brian has done. Is he can only attack in close range because all of his long range sensors are disturbed. So Gerard, he runs up to you with the sword, hits you with a 14 for 7 damage.
Oh wait. Wait.
Counterattack.
Wait. Counterattack.
I mean, you do take the damage, but go ahead.
When you are attacked, you may activate this ability to make my attack resolves first.
Sure.
So if I get the natural 20.
If you get the natural 20, you don't take the damage.
Hiya! That's 4.
That's a miss. So yes, you attempt to swing at him as he runs at you, but he dodges out of the way, slices you. You take 7 damage. That's that action resolved. Then it is you guys, Alex, Gerard, or Brian.
I would like to shoot the one with the bad sensor.
Okay, he's on the ground now, but nonetheless, yeah, go ahead and shoot him again.
4.
You don't.
Oh my god,
Correct.
are we just
Someone
gonna...
roll over a 5.
Are we?
I
Yeah, are we
rolled
just
a
gonna
nat
get single
20
digits?
before. I just...
Then an additional drone uncloaks. There are now 2 drones. It is also going to fire at the bubble. I rolled a 15, Colin. That is 3 more damage to the bubble.
Okay.
And then Alex and Gerard, there are 2 Iron Men on the ground and 2 drones around you.
I want to sword the one that sworded me.
This is logical. You may sword fight.
Hey, hey, that's a 19.
Oh my god.
Guess what? I have
All right.
the ability that lets 19s kill things in one hit.
Yep. Congratulations,
cut
you
his-
win Salvage Union.
I cut his arm off and then I cut his head off.
You
Yeah.
give him the old or Django Fett. Just
The Django.
It's that TikTok audio. It's like girls listening to their true crime podcast. His arms were cut off. Her
His legs
ears
were
cut
cut
off.
I'm gonna level with you guys.
Yes.
It's impossible for you to lose at this point.
Heyo.
Hey!
There
Those are
are
my
a few more
favorite
drones that are gonna uncloak.
Can I please take a shot? I haven't got to take a shot yet.
Yeah, sure. Shoot one of the drones.
Awesome. Can I do it with my big old laser?
Yeah.
I got a 5.
Okay, well, you missed this time, but we're gonna go around the table a bunch. You know, Colin's gonna control the other mech. He's gonna kill all the drones, probably. But yeah, I feel like I should just not make you roll to fight a bunch of drones.
Can I,
Yeah, Colin, what do you want to do with this guy? 'Cause
seppuku?
you've got 9 more minutes of controlling him.
Seppuku?
You want to just make him put himself out of his misery? Yeah.
Please.
Can't we
Just-
get like the inside on Opus or whatever using this guy? We
No.
have him
Well,
like,
I
secretly
mean,
divert the
this
collar
was
away.
so long ago, it wouldn't know anything about like present day Opus.
Okay, so let me just clarify here. So our options are nuke all of this. 1.
Right. I
2.
mean, really, your option is at this point activate the lockdown, because by the time you walk over to the other switch,
Yeah, I was about to say
It'll have gotten
activate
up
the
along the way.
lockdown. Great. But if we don't nuke it, Opus takes control of Godzilla.
probably.
I feel like that's not as bad for the surface
Yes, I would
as
agree
just
with
letting
that.
it go.
Possibly. But you won't know. You'll be down here.
You're right. We'll be down here building god tier tech, and then in 2,000 years we'll go
Yeah, in
wipe
2,000
out
years,
Opus.
you can take over the world again.
Yeah. It's,
So yeah, you at this point have eliminated the few still active threats in the city. You go into the big control room. It takes you a few moments to just figure out how to operate everything in here, because it's not super well labeled. And
all the labels burned off.
right, yeah. But nonetheless, after a few minutes, you manage to put out an order to the sort of reserve drones, and of course, as you do it, like all the lights flicker, like they were really almost out of power here. Everything dims for a bit, but then you head back outside, and there's a swarm of drones that have made their way up to the big crack in the dome and are working to repair it. Through the crack, you see water starting to drip in as the ice is melting, but and of course the big giant door closes behind the nest, and just in the nick of time, they finish closing the hole in the dome. The power goes out for 2 or 3 minutes. It's tense, it's quiet. There's some stomping and a loud roar outside, but then a little bit later, another couple minutes, you hear more stomping, and it gets farther away, and slowly the lights begin to come back on, as the generators spool up again. And the beast has left. You're not sure of its fate.
Bye,
But you are all
Godzilla.
in here, in your little dome of safety.
Take me down
And-
to the Paradise City, and it's in a dome under the Arctic Circle. And
Yes.
Arctic Circle.
Won't you please take
Yeah,
me
yeah, the other one, yeah.
home? Can I DJ our new welcome home party, or our big welcome home party?
Yeah. Listen,
Okay.
at this point, you're good. You guys can kind of describe the epilogue however you want. You know, the nest comes into the middle of the city,
All right.
unloads, people start rebuilding
Alex,
things.
I'm going to ask you something right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to make that fight harder and we actually do it?
No, because whenever I
'Cause-
throw at you, Gerard just rolls a
No.
20.
Or a 19.
I also can't make it too much harder. Like, they also have the instant kill swords. If I had rolled differently, you
That's
know.
true. They could have just destroyed some of our mechs.
Or whatever big mech Alex throws at us, I hack it.
Right, or Colin just says no. Actually,
Man,
that's my mech.
we really chose a game-breaking strategy by level 3.
You did.
What?
But what if
Why don't you guys go ahead and, you know, what do your characters do in your new peaceful lives down here? How do you spend your time?
Who am I really?
that sort of thing.
Who was my character? Hold on.
Who am I? Who am I without combat? It's a strange
In your
experience for
case,
somebody.
that is a good question, because your job is gun.
Yeah.
my character's job is
Ken.
also gun?
I mean, listen, you can work in security still, you know, like
We're creating
You have
the
the
most
preparation for a theoretical
well-trained,
threat,
but,
yeah.
like,
I am going to run the coolest nightclub in all of Starfall.
not a whole lot of competition, but yes.
Exactly. You see my point.
Gerard, what do? Do you open a pizzeria?
Please.
True.
he doesn't know what pizza is. He's just
No.
He
but
reinvents pizza.
He opens up a sub shop.
Any society sufficiently
And
advanced
calzones.
will eventually arrive at pizza.
Pizza was invented. They were using horses. Still mattered
Hey.
for the military.
Okay.
Colin, what do you do?
Hello. I would like to spend my time working on various AIs and drones, and eventually
Science.
get drones that are capable of going up into space to fix the space laser so that we could destroy Godzilla, and also
Sure.
upload my brain to
Okay.
I feel
Internet.
like the
You-
upload my brain to the internet as an afterthought on shooting a gun at Godzilla is wild.
Well, that is your
Wow.
objective. Maybe you
I
pull that off.
become Clovis Bray, but not crazy.
Well, that's up for debate.
Oh, then you're not Clovis Bray.
Yeah, I was about to say, like-
Brian, what does Mac do? This version.
Let me
of
go
Mac.
last.
Other than John, go ahead.
Oh, I'm next.
I guess so.
Okay.
You just do dad stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say I settled down with my wife, and we're no longer restrained by resource lack, so we can have more kids to populate this mess. And I help make sure everything works because that's kind of what I do.
Right. You just do engineering still.
Yeah, I'm still just a scientist and an engineer. I just do that.
All right, Brian. Was that a long enough break?
I've always been on my own. Life's been hard and I've struggled just to get
Oh, boy,
by.
here we go. All right, he's
In
monologuing.
getting by, I became a pilot and looked for ways to get my anger out.
This
Not
is
always in
your
a constructive
your
manner.
backstory. I need your
But
front
I made
story.
some friends.
I need your
But I made
friend.
some friends along the way who softened my heart. After the Great Underground, I decided to
Real
work
fight.
security and help the society as a whole live a normal life.
After the domining.
Whoa.
For the domining.
The domining.
So yeah, now again is the point where we kind of just start wrapping things up. As we do on this show, we sort of give a mini review of the system. We don't rank. We don't give things 9 out of 10. 8. We don't do ratings like that.
Yeah.
We just talk about what we liked and what we don't like, kind of abstractly. And of course, we would not play any game that we didn't really like. This has been fun.
It's been very fun.
If we played something for 1 or 2 sessions and hated it, we just wouldn't fucking upload it, right? So every game that we play is something we enjoy. So, obviously we're going to talk about pros and cons. Don't think the cons mean that you shouldn't play.
Okay. Can I open with one big con based on the last two episodes we've had?
I was going to say pros first, but
it's not. It's like the game is still being worked on, but balancing. This feels like it's gotten
there's
real
a few things.
lopsided
Yeah,
real
that was
quick.
one of my cons. But I have a list here.
Great.
And you guys could be free to interrupt me and add to this, but I was going to go through some pros first and then some cons. Pros, the overall like basic system of it, the D20 tables and the general structure and flow of gameplay, being relatively rules light, like in combat and stuff, it works pretty good. It works really well. I was worried that big robots would be inherently kind of complicated, and trying to do that in a rules light way might not work so good, but they pulled it off here, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. And you still have a pretty good degree of like mech customization and stuff despite that.
I think I've said this a couple of seasons now, but I'm not huge into like the nitty-gritty customization, so I feel like this is a good balance, and I like to have the freedom. Yeah, it's a good middle ground, and I like to have the freedom that everything's not so nitpicky, and we can kind of just talk through what we do and how we go about doing things.
It's flexible.
Yeah, I like the flexibility of this.
Yeah, for sure. Next pro, the vibes and like the world and like the art and everything is super cool.
I love the creatures.
It's a fun setting. The art's great. I think the only thing you could say negative about it is that maybe it's a little bit one note at sometimes, but like that's just this kind of whole post-apocalyptic genre in general, right? Like it just sort of is what it is. But it's very well done.
Raiders took over the industrial complex. Oh no!
Right, it's like big evil mega corporation, right? Like we've heard it before, but it's a good execution on those tropes.
Yes, very.
Next pro, theater of the mind combat, no grid, no nothing, can be tough to pull off, but I think they did it.
Yes, I agree. I think it works very
well. I don't feel like we were losing track of things. Colin, I know this was your first theater of the mind game. How'd you feel about it?
Overall, I did like it. There were some times where, since like, especially for me with the dome, I would have liked to have stayed outside of anything being in close range, and there were very much some times where it's like I want to be on that border, and it's potentially hard to like get that point across. But overall, I mean, I didn't really have any complaints. I think one issue is with the whole like close versus medium versus long versus far range, right?
Yeah,
that can mean different things to different people.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sort of meant to be a little bit nebulous so that you're more likely to be able to hit. But yeah, I get that it's the vagueness of it can be. It leaves a lot up to GM call. Yeah,
because like if so, at least like with close range, right? When I was thinking like, okay, what is close range? I was thinking, okay, if this was on a grid, at most two spaces around,
a couple of squares, right?
Yeah, it would be close range. And I think there were a couple comments where we had a lot of things in close range, and my brain was just like, how is all of this fitting?
Yeah, I mean, some of it was like flying drones.
Size,
and stuff, but
size is also a factor because it's like there's our giant ass mechs,
right? You guys are all
also essentially fucking pickup trucks.
Yeah, and like D&D, Pathfinder, big adventure game terms, right? You guys would all be like huge creatures. You'd all be like 3x3s, right?
Yeah.
And
a lot of the things that you're fighting are only 1x1 or 2x2, right? So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah.
But again, overall, well executed theater of the mind combat, tough to pull off. We're nitpicking at this point. But yeah, like the more vague you are, inevitably this sort of thing happens. But kept to a minimum, I think. Problems. Next pro, I like their initiative structure, the kind of back and forth of it.
I mean, we see like a lot of games doing that now, using this instead of like a hard
I'm not saying they
counter.
invented it,
but
I like that we're like,
well.
when we played Monster of the Week, it was like, all right, everybody go in whatever fucking order you want, just like say something. That I felt was too freeform.
Yeah.
This still gives you guys the freedom to like, oh, I have a cool idea, I want to go first. But then there's still some structure to it, right? Like once you've gone, you can't go until we come back all the way around again. And like there's enough structure there that it's fair and everyone gets a turn, but there's enough elbow room for flexibility that you get to
That's
be
not how it was a Monster of the Week?
I made it that way, basically.
Oh.
Rules is written powered by the apocalypse. You're just supposed to just go.
Figure it out yourselves.
So like one
just raise your hand and
three
go.
times in a row.
Like, yeah.
Kind of Lancer was like that as well. That it's just like, all right, you guys figure it out. It's like, and then we ended up.
But that was
an
side initiative
system.
where like all of us would go, then all of you would go. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to do it. I'm just saying I like this one.
Yeah, this is good.
Next Pro, this is small. This is just a personal note. I'm glad there were a lot of like organic enemies for you guys to fight. It wasn't all mechs all the time.
Yes, monsters are cool.
Yeah, for me, like my favorite mecha thing was Pacific Rim. So, like monster versus kaiju, or kaiju versus robot, yay, fun.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that in Lancer. Happy to see it here.
I mean, in the future, I can use that in Lancer. That was more just me being
right. That's
fighting...
not so much a dig at the system. Just in the case of our story, the campaign you told that we didn't happen to fight any, and like I like that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on my list here is the cheat sheet's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good cheat sheet. You gotta respect a good cheat sheet.
It is an outstanding. It's formatted well. It has pretty much everything you could need.
The only time I looked at the book was when I specifically needed to check the rules for a specific system,
like an item or a system.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
If you're not,
like our guns and all of that.
Like you could play the game with the cheat sheet. Like it's
for the cheat sheet and a character sheet with abbreviated descriptions of your equipment, your own equipment.
Yeah,
be good.
Any system that can have that, I think, should. Because that was, like, really, really helpful.
Yeah.
And easy to pick back up, especially for us who, like, will go 2 weeks and not play it and maybe not think about it at all. And to get back into it, it's really nice having that cheat sheet to look at and, rely upon.
For sure.
One, and this isn't necessarily actually, this isn't really a complaint about Salvage Union. It's more, I kind of wish this had gone further, because I know there were a lot of mechs that, like, I was looking through possibilities and everything, of things I really wanted.
You wanted to explore, like, the higher rank mechs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was really hoping you were gonna throw a carrier at us just so I could.
You guys are already so powerful, but yeah.
I would also, if I were running this, limit that the players can't use tech more than one level above themselves, because the sword broke the game.
Yeah. Well, let's come now to the cons. There are more pros that we just can't think of. Again, we had a good time.
Yeah.
So going through my little list here, and this is more you guys on your end. You tell me how you thought about this, but from my perception, the player level up structure was weird. Not bad, just like weird to get your head around. I just felt like it was a little confusing at times. You guys tell me.
No, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like somebody would have to tell me every time you were to level up. Like, all right, now this is what we're doing, and this is what you need to look at in order to. You can add this tech level or whatever to level up. We're not leveling up this much this time. It's like it seemed. Yeah, I agree. It seemed confusing.
Again, not bad, just hard to get your head around. The abilities and stuff are cool.
I think that's more or less just not having as much of a handle on it. For the
right, but I mean, like, you compare it to some other systems, we got a handle on it quicker, right? Like,
that's fair.
Monster Week was like, oh, just read what's on your sheet there, get a new thing, right? It was a little bit more obtuse than that.
The customization does that though. Like that's really
it's a trade-off for sure.
Like if this were you pick a class of mech and then you can only pick from a refined list, that would probably change it. Well, but that would also be much more limited.
We could be here all day talking about alternate ways to structure it, but there's just a million ways to do everything.
Yeah.
Next con. Okay. Thank you. My wife just handed me a hot, fresh brownie. Thank you.
Ooh.
That's a pro.
Can I have a brownie?
Oh, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
We'll mail you one.
Anyway, let's quickly get through here so I can eat this fucking brownie. Next con, the downtime procedure, while each individual component of it is cool and interesting, is long. It's so long that we didn't do it in most of the episodes. We did it like in separate meetings. So it's just kind of long. That's it. That's all I have to say on it.
I don't think that's necessarily a con for people who like that side of it.
Right. If you're like deep into resource management and stuff like that, God bless, this is your game.
I also think that a lot of people might use that as good time for role playing, just being on like the ship with the crew.
Yeah, if we weren't doing this as a show and we were just had like 4 hours to hang out as buddies, like at night, then
I could see that being a really good place for the role playing aspects.
Yeah, just in the specific case of our show, it was a lot.
We're just trying to cram everyone having their own individual conversations and interactions. Would be too much for what we normally do.
Next con, kind of nitpicking at this point, but the early game weapon variety seemed a little bit limited. It was like 50 mil chainsaw, or 50 cal chainsaw, 30 millimeter. That's all you guys were using for early game weapons. So,
I mean, there were other things. It's just like there's a
but
laser,
like you really gravitated to those.
A crusher, a flamethrower. I think that's more us than anyone else. Like, because in Tech 1,
perhaps you guys just did,
which is like a junk cannon, I think.
Yeah, I kind of think our choices
of text.
Yeah, I kind of feel like our choices of weapons kind of says a lot about us. That we all kind of stuck with something that worked really well as like a group.
We have good cohesion.
And yeah, and I think that also kind of made it very hard for Alex to throw stuff that like was going to be hard enough.
Well, yeah.
To give us
so that brings me
fight.
to my next point, and this is like 70% my fault. But that fucking sword is bullshit.
That was a mistake. Letting us.
I should not have given it to you. But at the same time, maybe it shouldn't exist.
I think that the instant kill is too much. Maybe it can do triple damage. It can still be some obscene thing
that I'm okay with.
But like,
Gerard, what do you
instant
think?
Kill on anything is too much.
Yeah, like I think if the creature is like too big for the sword to cut some things head off, like the worm. Like I feel like the worm is way too big to cut the head off of it in one swing. This is
it does 7 base damage. It should just have like its crit should just do like 20 damage, right? Like
I feel like does this game have like a size category like D&D with like
no, I didn't unless I missed it, and let me know in the comments. It's possible, but unless I missed it, there was nothing on the worm that said it is immune to the deadly property. It's too big, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that should be implemented or something. Like, if the creature's like gargantuan sized, it can't be instant killed like that. Or it just takes like triple damage from the deadly property or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
I also don't really know how big anything is with like the mechs, because it's like how big any of the mechs are relative to each other.
Well, they don't have cannon sizes necessarily the way it's supposed to be. It's just like with Lancer, the art that is given is not necessarily the only way that mech can look. It's just so that there's something, right?
Yeah, but it just feels like they could have put, hey, it's this general size, like a size class would probably.
I think with a few exceptions, they're all however big you want them to be. Like obviously, like the worm and the carrier are big.
Well, I mean, like the Atlas is also
the Neurophage is
massive.
Small because it's just a suit. The Atlas is meant to be big, but some of them, there's wiggle room. Like Colin's mech, like it looks like it's, the middle part of it is like a cockpit for 1 or 2 people sized, but it could be way bigger and it wouldn't necessarily. But yeah,
the middle kind of looks like a punch button.
Right, it looks like the middle's about the size of a small car, but again, that's just that art of it, right? Next small note. The collection of this is the GM side, but the collection of like NPCs they give me to fight you guys is pretty good. There's the goo monsters, there's the meld, there's the the Wastelander raiders, there's the various monsters, the worms and the chimerapedes and all those things. That's all pretty good, but making an enemy mech is kind of a pain in the butt because I have to go through basically the entire character creation process.
Don't they give you
you didn't fight a lot of mechs.
Like the recommended?
They do give you the recommended ones, but then
in the book,
like they're not like put together nicely into a stat block. I have to go reference all of those things.
And they're also not as optimized as we are, which puts them at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, we definitely.
We're a bunch of fucking munchkins at this point. Like, we're
there's a bunch of power gamers.
We are not even on purpose. It's just what we do. Like,
so that's the end of my list. If you guys have anything else you want to add, go ahead.
So to Alex's point, I wish that there were drone options, like drones for players to use.
You love a good drone.
I love a good, like, just any additional
you were droning it up in
creature monster that I could utilize, right? And I think especially with my build, like if I had like one or two little drones and those were my weapons, I would have totally ditched the 30 millimeter.
Yeah,
and been like,
I think I
just have little
remember
drones.
Seeing in the Discord that Panny, the author, is aware of of like the typo that Gerard found and some other small complaints like this, and they're working on like an update book, or not an update book, but like an errata, to address some of these things that we're talking about, a little more weapon variety or system variety broadly at the low end, just so there's more choices.
Yeah.
So we're retreading old ground here, but
I took a drone because I thought it was going to be like Lancer. Granted, I should have read the whole thing, but I was assuming I'd be able to attack with it, and then I wound up not really using it.
No, yeah, there's I think there's only one.
There's a mech that does that, but it's the mech's core system.
Mm-hmm.
I unlocked an auto turret as a pilot, and I feel I didn't even write it down. I just I have auto turret C book on my sheet. Like, it was just so much text, and it was like pilot sized auto turret.
I think you guys can back me up on this. Character sheet, not great.
Yes, if we did not have
I forgot about the character
that we
sheet.
made, I would have been so lost half the time.
There's just it's not like an ugly layout or anything. It's just not enough room.
Yeah, it's true. It's very small.
The book's got a lot of text. Like,
we end up using a Google.
Yeah, I ended up making
Excel,
a Google sheet. I know people have made it, built it in like Roll20 and whatever else. Foundry. So
actually, I do have something. So, because I just noticed this, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed it. Some of my hacking abilities are also modules or systems, like verbatim.
Perhaps.
Like the actually hacking ability is the exact same thing as
that. I don't think it is inherently a problem, because then you can ditch Eggs Mayhem and put something else.
That way you can put stuff.
That's fine. I'm okay with the idea of
issue.
More than one path to an ability. You have to be aware of it, obviously. Don't be an idiot and take both. But
here's the thing: if you do, just get rid of one.
Right.
It's not real. It's okay.
I totally didn't have both this.
Well, that's a you con. that's not a game con. But yeah, any other closing thoughts from anyone? Anything else you wanted to add?
It was fun.
That's it from me. I had a good time.
Right. Yeah. Other than that,
I liked
yes.
it.
I had a very good time. I would
definitely recommend it.
I would limit the tech that the players can use to only one level higher than them. That would have solved.
Right. Maybe throw a house rule on that.
Solved every problem we had, where we were just.
If I just hadn't given you the crazy sword.
Yeah.
And that one hacking ability that Colin got at the end might also be bullshit.
That might need an update, but
it might just need a roll.
Getting the sword that early was a problem.
So here's the thing, though. At least with Trojan Horse, yes,
You can use it once.
Well, so actually, I could use it more times because I could load it into the hacking kit and then use my energy. But the big thing is that when you use Trojan Horse, right, you become a sitting duck in your own
That's
mech.
true. But when you combine it with the energy shield
And 4 other mechs.
And your buddy's covering you, there's a good build there.
Yeah, I definitely was kind of a min-maxed munchkin in this case.
You arrived at that for sure.
But
anyway, we're harping on it a little too much.
It was very fun.
It at the end of the day, it's a fun game. It's a good system. Like all works of art made by human beings, it has flaws, you know. But I definitely recommend it. Yes, like everything else.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it, especially if you tried a game like Lancer or BattleTech or something, and were like, "That's a lot," you know.
Yeah.
And you're looking for something a little lighter.
I mean, like, I would definitely like to play in another Salvage Union campaign.
If anyone's looking to play, they do have a nice big server on Discord. Maybe I'll throw it in the description. And not just for you guys, but for the audience.
Hopefully one that goes higher than... What tech were we? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think playing in a longer, drawn-out campaign...
Yeah, I think it would be better suited to, like a long kind of drop-in, drop-out casual game that you play with your buddies over the course of many months, rather than the weird format of our show.
I think this is also a good system for if you have a bunch of people and not everyone can play every week, having different teams go out on the missions.
And you just share the crawler.
Yes, So I was about to say Salvage Union would be perfect.
That's what
for
the author
West
does
March style
in
campaign.
The Discord server. They have like a community game that you sign up in a Google form, and they just rotate players out based on availability, and it's like a weekly game or whatever, and they all share a crawler, and then at the end of the session you break down your mech for scrap, and then the next group of players has all of the scrap you've gathered to make their mechs, and you keep going. So if anyone wants to listen to us play it and you want to play it, I'll put the link to the Salvage Union Discord in the description. You can give it a try that way. Of course, just play with your friends also.
Yeah, I think Salvage Union would make for an awesome West March style game.
Yeah, it seems very built for that. But anyway, we have yapped about game design philosophy long enough. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening. Please check out our other content. Watch Guitarist Origins. Watch the next season of this show. We are going to be pirates, and that's going to be pretty cool.
And
yeah.
Just because I feel like I had a lot of negatives. I have been recommending this game to people because it's very fun.
I have been too. Yeah, I've been on
like if
Reddit
you like
and
Lancer
other Discord
but
servers
don't
and
like
stuff.
math.
Right. Yeah. I've been hyping it up for sure, and on Twitter and everything.
Give
it's
a
a good
thumbs
time.
up to my microphone. Okay.
But yeah. But anyway, last time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, become a member, give us your money, all that stuff.
Give us your money.
Or
Have a
your
good
time.
day, everyone.
Your time is also
Goodbye.
appreciated, not just money.
Yes.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.
Almost any money. Goodbye.
Goodbye.